Yo! What's up, everyone? This is your head coach of the UMBC Bolton, Redacted, back with another week of the NBA Season 2. This is Week 3, and we are playing against a formidable opponent. And so this is head coach Jacob Schmitt of the Columbus Swab Blue Jackets. Jacob is also the commissioner of the NBA, and personally, I love the guy. He's a great friend, and we get along well. However, under the confines of this fictional narrative that I'm building with the NBA, we are sworn enemies, and it is my duty and responsibility to take him down this week, to usurp him and insert who I believe to be the true commissioner of this league, Aaron Schmitt, his younger brother. And actually, our hope is that the league will finally realize Aaron's sovereignty and power, and will become our new NBA king. So, anyhow, that is the agenda. That is the hope this week, going into our match against Columbus, who is a seasoned coach, great coach, has been a part of this league for many years prior, and knows what he's doing. Traditionally in the past, he has drafted well defensively. However, he's taken a different approach this year and gone with some crazy offensive Pokemon. So we have a lot to think about coming into this week. Our win last week against the New York Yankees was great, felt awesome, and built a lot of confidence within our team. However, going up against this Dracovish, which is, coincidentally not banned. However, our friend, our loyal, lovely friend, freecinderace, is in fact behind bars. But Dracovish is allowed. That is an interesting thing, and just more indication of how toxic, truly toxic, and unfit for leadership this commissioner is. So, with that said, if you haven't already, subscribe and like the video, and in the comments, hashtag freecinderace. So, moving into this week, he came off of a narrow loss to the Cincinnati Raikou, and has a win behind him against Kentucky. And Kentucky is also a great team. Cincinnati also is a growing team, and I would say proves that they have a lot of potential for the rest of this week in pulling off a win against Jacob, who is extremely seasoned. So that was a narrow game, and could have gone in any way. But again, Swab Blue have a lot coming into this game this week. So looking at his roster, we have to worry about a lot of these offensive Pokemon. Dracovish is probably for sure coming. Regieleki could come. We are afraid of Blacephalon. We're afraid of Dugtrio, and Zarude. All crazy, effective, strong, versatile. Well, maybe not versatile, but can do a lot to pretty much any matchup. So we have a lot to think about. He does have a lot of great budget picks as well. Altaria was a solid pickup for its price. It can be super bulky. It can do crazy Parish Song, Whirlpool sets that are absolutely demonizing. And Mawile is also solid. A Swords Dance set with Sucker Punch, Play Rough, all that stuff. And as we'll see in the team planning, Delibird has a lot of tools that it can bring as well. For being the lowest tier, for being a tier 10, Delibird was an awesome pickup for the Swab Blue. So we have a lot, again, to think about. I'm repeating myself. I will move forward into the document. However, looking at his stats across the board, he's an evenly spread team. There are a couple of areas of opportunity. Notably that Blacephalon is probably one of his only, pretty much his only offensive special attacker. Regieleki, you can argue. However, its move spread's just not large enough to, in my opinion, against our team, to do a ton. I can always bring out a ground type. I could bring Motor Drive Emolga. I could just eat it up with Chansey or Eldegoss. And that actually brings me to my next pick, which we drafted this week in Appleton. We dropped Magneton for Appleton after seeing the talent and promise that this player has to deal with the Dracovish. If you weren't familiar, Appleton has an incredible high, crazy HP stat, decent defenses, and has some offensive capabilities as well. Appleton's only drawback is its speed, and you could argue it's typing, but it gets thick fat. So ice moves only hit for two times, and fire is completely neutral. Or no, fire is resisted, actually, I believe. So Appleton's great. Appleton, we love this sweet little apple baby. And we calced this out, and we looked at a bunch of different sets. And Dracovish, with this Vicious Rend, is going to slap anything that wants to come in besides this Appleton. So we have that direct counter coming into the week. We know he wants to bring Dracovish too, and we have to bring Appleton. Aside from that, he also has somewhat of a sand team. He has a Gigalith as the sand setter, and he can take advantage of that with Doug Trio. Dracovish gets Sand Rush, and so there's a lot of opportunity for sand here. Landorus is just a great pick for that as well again, but even if he doesn't bring it, we have some offensive capabilities, and Landorus is a real threat against his team. It's pretty much a safe shoe-in switch into Regieleki, so he probably won't bring Regieleki, actually, based on that, because it puts me in a position to bring out my sweeper, and he can't really do a ton to it. So he wants to take an Earthquake, I guess. He won't take the Earthquake, and I just get a hit on something. So yeah, that was the two things that really kind of guided the rest of the team building process. I guess I should mention here in the speed matchup tab, hopefully this is sorted. Latias, our fastest mon, is going to outspeed everything. However, he has 3 big offensive threats that outspeed everybody else. So with that said, we knew we were going to go forward with the Choice Scarf Landorus, just to make sure that we hit things before they hit us, and to preserve the damage and health left on Landorus. We have other options along with that, but that was just kind of the main going off a point for the rest of the team build. So moving into the final team, the Choice Scarf Landorus. This week, unfortunately, we didn't bring any nicknames. However, next week, we will see these nicknames come into play. So we bring the Choice Scarf, we bring Earthquake, another physical set, just because he has a lot of... Let me look back at this actually really quick. He does have a lot of defensive capability, spread across his team. Gigalith can take a lot. Dracovish is going to take an Earthquake for sure. It's rude. However, we want to do the most that we can with things like U-turn and knockoff, because those are going to get rid of some. It's going to take away from the Swablu's advantage across the game, and just put as much damage on it as possible. So U-turn with the physical investment 2 knocks out Zarude, even without the band or life orb. So I think that all pretty much just validated more the Choice Scarf set bringing into this week. I'm going to skip over Deontay for now, just because we added Deontay last second, so I want to validate that by explaining the rest of the Pokemon. So Chansey, another Eviolite set. We, instead of bringing Toxic and Thunderwave, we chose to bring the Thunderwave to try to slow things down. In the event that he does bring a Choice Scarf on other mons or Sand Rush, we can make sure that the Landorus outspeeds. And Seismic Toss, just in case we get into a situation where we have to stall out something. Wish Protect this week, so we can scout and pass off huge amounts of health onto other Pokemon. In place of Eldegoss, we have Appleton, which I mentioned already is going to take Vicious Rends, have the leftovers, the thick fat for any kind of ice moves. In the event we need to take one of those in place of Landorus, and the Apple Acid and Draco. Apple Acid comes in clutch because I get some special drops on the things, and that makes way for the Moltres or the Latias, or even a Draco Meteor to hit a little bit harder. Leech Seed to get some health back, kind of whittle things down, and pass off some health to other things, and recover. Just because once we take the Vicious Rend, it would be nice to get our health back up. And then we brought this spread here, just enough defense to make it worthwhile, fully invested in all of its health stat, and bringing some special bulk just in the event that we need it. So you don't really need any special attack investment here because it one-shots without that, but just the little bit we had left over sort of pads that knockout for us onto the Dracovish. Latias, we have pretty much the same set we brought last week against New York, and it's the same philosophy that we get in, we scout, we can wish things, pass wishes to things, and drop Dracos on things. And then Moltres, we bring the traditional heavy-duty boot set, and we bring the U-turn to get momentum. Will-O-Wisp in the event that we can pass that on to a Dracovish or Zarude or anything else, and Defog if we get into a position where we can do that. Flamethrower and Flame Body, so that we can deal with things like the Mawile, and hopefully get a burn on things. So with that said, Deontay was sort of here in the event that he clicks Outrage on the Dracovish. So Appleton would get knocked out in one hit, so we need to make sure we can, if we can read that properly, that we can get into an advantage against that. We have rocks on this, Heal Bell and Reflect. This wasn't going to be our lead or anything like that. It was just supposed to come out in the event that we needed to block the Outrage and then get us into a better tactical position. So yeah, with that said, this was our team, and we're going to move on to the match. So he didn't bring Gigalith, which was probably, valid on his part to not power up to Landorus with Sandforce. The thing I will say, however, is Gigalith takes a lot of hits from pretty much all of my Pokemon. It's not going to get one shot by anything. It can hit hard back. Yeah, Gigalith is a great mon actually for him in this matchup, and provides a lot of utility for him that perhaps he just didn't see and had other plans for other things. Tentacruel was a great bring to kind of hopefully Ice Beam the Landorus. He could have brought Scarfed Tentacruel, which would have been a problem, but of course I brought the Scarfed Landorus. Yeah, and that was for me to get ahead of that and some of the other Pokemon on his team. The great thing though is that because he didn't bring Sand, that means he can't take advantage of Sand Rush, and therefore Landorus outspeeds everything except for the Blacephalon and the Doug Trio. But those Pokemon have other things for them, so we didn't need to worry about that. With that said, similar to last week, there's no real reason I don't lead off with Landorus here. If he leads off with the Dracovish, he likely will want to click Vicious Rend, and I just go into the Appleton there. It's a risky play. He could click Outrage if he had kind of scouted that and understood that Vicious Rend wouldn't have killed. But Anything that he brings in, other than that, I think I can pretty much get a solid hit on or kill. So we lead with Landorus here, and he goes out into Zarude. And, you know, Zarude can potentially do a lot against this set. However, I'm not special attacking, and I know that U-turn can kill and put me in a position to bring something else out. So I just go for that right off the bat, and we get kills. We get kills with Landorus. First turn of the game. That's wonderful for us. So we switch out an Appleton. If he brings in the Dracovish, he doesn't. He brings in the Tentacruel, and Chansey is my switch in for Tentacruel. Pretty easy to just take a Toxic or any kind of special attack and swap out, or a Thunder Wave. We do get the Thunder Wave off onto the Mawile, which is not ideal because we can't burn it then. However, it's okay because now we can hopefully get some Paralyze and, yeah, kind of put it out of commission. And now we can swap out the Moltres. Moltres is safe for this. We can Flamethrower or Will-O-Wisp. And it's kind of weird that we get the Will-O-Wisp onto Tentacruel, but any sort of damage we can get off on this, it's going to be nice, so that we can potentially kill it later. Again, my Chansey's my switch here. He Toxics me again. He's whittling this thing down, which is, you know, I need to control that. At this point now I can get a Wish off. I just swap into Moltres. He goes for the Play Rough. I get my health back, and we kind of do this back and forth a couple times. So now I can U-turn and bring out the Landorus and just go for an Earthquake. And what wants to take an Earthquake now? Really nothing except for the Dracovish. And so I get the kill. And that is 2 big mons out of the way before 10 turns are over. And so that is so big for us. Again, this franchise is, and this coach, very well established in seasons. And so finally he can bring in his threat. So he stacks the Tentacruel for Dracovish. And now Appleton gets to come out and show what it's worth. 20%! Beautiful! Appleton is so sweet. Now we can Leech Seed something and start getting our health back, and he swaps out. Great switch by him to call out me swapping out. I go for the Protect to see what he's going to do, and he Leech Life. And he swaps out, thinking that I'm going to bring in the Appleton, I guess. I bring in Moltres. Now I get a Defog off and get rid of this hazard, so I can bring back in Chansey here, get the Wish off. And I live on 1% from a Mind Blown, and that was so fortunate for us. Jacob, I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry that we lived that and can get the Wish off and protect the following turn and get our health back and put ourselves into a really stable position. Meanwhile, he's getting these speed boosts and is losing health from the Mind Blown. Now he can paralyze this, and it's pretty much back at what, normal speed at this point. Get another Wish Protect off, and we're looking pretty here. Appleton is going to take this so easily. He does get the speed boost, but it doesn't really matter because he can't do much to the Appleton. I try to Draco that, and he makes a good switch. Moltres can come in. And now I tried to read, you can see it now, I try to read the Outrage play here, assuming that he was going to see the Appleton switch. And he gets the Vicious Rend and knocks out Deontay easy. That's okay. I get a Leech Seed off while I try. And we're just making the switches we need to. Now I can bring back out Landorus and hit something. I knock off just to get rid of Scarf or whatever he has on to the Dracovish. Just for another leech life this time. And that's not doing a ton. Get the leech life, or leech seed this time. And I get a pair off. I think that I read that he would probably stay in now. Something to that effect. Just because we've made the same couple switches, so maybe he thinks I'm going to U-turn again. I kind of predicted that he would think that way, so I go for a flamethrower and we get the knockout on the Mawile. He safely gets out the Dracovish. He should have gone for Outrage here. Just for the Vicious Rend again. Missed the Leech Seed. And I'm just like, F it, I need to Draco this thing. So, we do that. And Appleton gets the kill. What a Pokemon. And now we're just looking to end the game. I swap out the Chansey to try to take and see what he's going to hit me with. I believe I tried to... What was I doing here? I don't know what I was trying to do. I think I was still scouting it. He continues to Stone Edge and almost knocks out the Chansey, so I bring in Landorus knowing I can live one, and I can EQ it. And that was the game. Great game to Swablu. You know, I wish I could say it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but I'm trying to sound as petty as possible. But no, but in all seriousness, Jacob, good games. We look forward to seeing how your franchise makes its way through the rest of the season. Maybe we'll catch up again in the playoffs, and we now await the opportunity to allow Aaron into his rightful position as the king of the NBA. So go Boltons, go Snubbles, go Gulpin, go Torchics, and we'll see you in the next one.